Welcome, everybody, to this PayTrace Power30. My name is Sam Johnson. I am the Partner Success Manager at PayTrace, and I'm coming live from PayTrace Studios. And I'm just going to say I am thrilled to welcome our Master of Marketing, Mary Miller. See that? Do you appreciate the alliteration on that?
I love it. I love it. Well done. Well done. Happy to be here, Sam.
Thanks for joining, Mary.
Of
If you
course.
don't know Mary, she is our director of marketing, and we've put in a lot of really good work on some new products that are coming out. And today we're going to be discussing our newest product that's just come to market called Trace AR. So I'll do a little bit of housekeeping up front just so you know what to expect. PayTrace Power30 is typically going to be about 30 minutes long. Today we've got a lot of information to cover, so it might go a little bit long. But this is your opportunity to learn a little bit more about PayTrace, the inner workings of it, the people, the product, all the fun stuff that we have going on. You will notice if you are on the live webinar today, you are muted. It's not because we don't want to talk to you, but we just want to reduce some noise. If you do have questions, comments, or emotional outbursts over the next 30 minutes, please send those into the Q&A section on your Zoom panel. Myself and Mary will be monitoring that, and we'll take about 5 to 10 minutes at the end of today's call to address those questions. Anything that isn't hit on today's call, we'll also provide some contact information so you can get in front of our team and we can talk about next steps. So without further ado, let's talk about Trace AR. And Mary, could you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that businesses today are facing with their accounts receivable practices?
Yeah, Sam, it's such an important topic right now where organizations are, seeing smaller teams in finance and accounting and back office operations. And even the fact that a lot of us work remotely now creates a challenge just in the way that we work, right? Because bills have to get paid and bills have to be sent. And what we're seeing, and the data supports this, is that there's very slow traditional payment cycles. There's a majority of companies, B2B companies in particular, that still receive a lot of checks as the primary form of payment from their vendors, their suppliers, their customers. And as organizations grow, they really want to have this connected buying experience, especially over the last 3 or 4 years. We have all become consumer and business buyers from our living room, from our kitchen, right? From walking the dogs. We want this connected experience that's very consumer like. And there's a huge demand for it in the market as CFOs really look to enable their teams with technology, automation around accounts receivable and other financial operations, ways that they collect payments, ways that they are able to bill their customers are becoming so important that all of these CFOs really support investment in automation technology. So 7 out of 10 B2B buyers today prefer to do their buying online or in a digital way, or be able to call in and give them a credit card number, just like we do as consumers. So what do we see? What's the impact of these challenges? Well, traditional slow payment cycles right now can take 28 days or more in a day's sales outstanding timeframe. In other words, from the minute I send the invoice to my customer, it can take 28 days or more. It actually averages 28 to 45 days for that merchant to receive payment. That's painful. It's slow. When they do get it, it's in the form of a check. They've got to send somebody into the office to open the envelope, take it out, make sure the check's there, make sure that it's right, and do a lot of manual process. And that takes time. The average cost for that process is about $23 per invoice. Now, no company I've ever talked to, Sam, has a line item in that for their budget. It's just a matter of the cost of doing business, right? But it could be so much better if we really enable our customers to pay in a very quick and convenient way, just like we do as consumers. We really prefer to have a single payment source where you can either log in or call in or make a payment online over the phone. Even text is becoming so popular these days, right? That's what we do as consumers. We want that same experience as a B2B buyer. And so do the CFOs that run those organizations that are issuing those bills, because their needs are changing, their teams are changing, where they work and how they work is changing. And we really need to create a very seamless buying cycle for customers who are sending those bills and the people that we're accepting those payments from. So the whole goal here is to streamline and automate your accounts receivable process so you can accelerate the cash flow that comes along with it.
I love it. So I'm actually going to create a little engagement here with our audience, make sure everybody's paying attention. It's not an actual
Awesome.
quiz, but we want to hear your thoughts, right? When you think about the challenges of accounts receivable, what do you think are some of the biggest issues that are facing businesses today? Is that going to be the slow time to get paid, right? That 28-day sales cycle, old archaic technology, kind of the manual labor process, lack of integrations into their existing softwares and processes.
Do we need
So,
an all of the above?
well, I made this multiple checks, so you can click
There you
multiple.
go. There you go. Yeah. I imagine a lot of companies would see all of those as challenges in their organization.
This is a little bit of a leading question, right? Because these are
Fair
all
enough.
very large issues, and a lot of the times it's not things that we think about kind of front
Right.
of mind, but
Right.
they exist. And that's why, right, we're going to be talking about some of the solutions to these issues here today. So it actually looks like I'm going to close this out in about 5 seconds. Front runner on this is manual processes seems to be the biggest issue,
Yeah.
right? All of the time and energy spent into collecting, right? I'm going to close that out. Great insight, team. Now, when we talk about this manual process, it can be very labor intensive, right? So we actually have, Mary, I love this graphic that I'm pulling up here, a 10-step invoice example on how to get paid.
Mhm.
You want to walk through this one?
Yeah, I worked as an accounting manager for a number of years, and I lived and breathed this every day. When we need to send out our invoices to our customers, we would print them out and fold them and put them in the envelope and mail them to our customers, right after the customer makes the purchase. Of course, step one, they have to buy something from us. Time passes, things take time in the mail, things take time for that person to get to the office to collect those invoices, again, open the envelope, sort them out, and then there's this whole internal approval process, right? They've got to go down, they've got to be approved by Tom, and then they have to be approved by Sam, and then ultimately they have to be approved by somebody else if they're over a certain dollar threshold. And all of those sorts of delayed reaction or delayed approval cycles affect how fast we're going to get paid, right? So once all of those approvals actually get done, then the customer does issue the check, puts it back in the mail, sends it back to us, and heaven forbid it's a holiday weekend. Now that's delayed even further, right? And they always seem to fall on Mondays. So, now we're not getting mail till Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever. And then we finally receive that payment. And then we have to go in and take the check to the bank whenever we're going to do our next series of deposits. So that's where that 28 to 45-day cycle comes in. And that cost of $23 per invoice is, do the math, right? You know how many invoices you pay per month, you know how many invoices you receive per month, and that adds up very quickly. And I don't know about you guys, but especially during COVID, our finance and office managers were the only ones going into the office because they had to get the mail, they had to get the bills, they had to get the checks, they had to be able to manage that process. But it was very, very manual. So a lot of organizations can relate to those of you who shared manual processes as your number one challenge. And the other thing to think about is those teams aren't getting any bigger, right? But they're still expected to do financial reporting and financial analysis and budgeting and planning, all the things that we want to be able to think about from a strategic perspective for our business, things we expect from our finance and accounting teams. And here they are chasing paper and going in for the mail. We could be doing more. We could be doing better. And we want these solutions. We want an accounts receivable automation solution that is two things primarily. What I hear from customers all the time is easy to use and integrate with my ERP or accounting system, right? Don't make me go learn something else that's going to slow things down or potentially create a learning curve, or now I've got to teach everybody, how to do a new thing in order to do our jobs effectively. So it has to be super easy to use, and it has to work very nicely and closely with our accounting and ERP system, which is another very exciting thing for Trace AR, as Sam is going to demonstrate in just a few minutes, that Trace AR can be used as a standalone system, and it integrates directly out of the box natively with QuickBooks Online, which we know a lot of small and mid-sized businesses use as their core accounting system. So once you add Trace AR into that mix, it cuts those 10 steps down to just 2 or 3. You send the invoice, and Sam's going to show you just how easy that is to do, email, text, whatever, very easy to get people that digital invoice just the way they expect to receive it and want to be able to pay it. They go through Trace AR, things get received right in the system, your payment gets received right in the system, and then you gain visibility into that payment status, again, right in your QuickBooks system or directly within Trace AR. And with Trace AR, you can receive up to 80% of your digital payments are going to be received within 1 week. Now, we caveat that week by it could be actually seconds, minutes the same day, but sometimes those approvals still need to happen based on the dollar amount, the threshold, that sort of thing. So it can be as quick as just a few minutes, but traditionally from a business to business standpoint, you can expect to get that payment within a week as opposed to several weeks or even a couple of months. So Sam's going to show us what that looks like in the demonstration of Trace AR.
All right. I am. So
we're excited about it. Can't wait to see it.
We got a very nice logo for it. So this is a great time to start getting into the solution, right? We've addressed all these challenges, old archaic processes, manual labor, slow time to get paid, right? We want to make sure that cash is getting in the bank sooner rather than later because there is a time value to money. And if you are on a finance team, you are very well aware of that. So we want to make that process easy for accounts receivables, for anybody that is sending out manual invoices today. Trace AR is a great solution for that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is Trace AR and see a live demo of this. So I'm going to hop over into my test account, but you will notice that we are not in your typical PayTrace user interface. We're not in the gateway. This is actually a new, more or less standalone solution. I almost like to think of this as like PayTrace 2.0 because it's going to support all of the features and functionality that you're used to with PayTrace today. We've got the virtual terminal, we've got the recurring and subscription payments, we can do payment links, customer vaults, all that good stuff. But we are really enhancing this experience and this automation process for our users, right? So I'm going to talk about just a couple things here, right? We don't have time for a full hour-long in-depth conversation, but let's touch on the important stuff. Number one, invoicing, right? How can we make that quicker and easier? As you can see, I'm actually on my invoicing dashboard within Trace AR. I can see all of my current outstanding invoices, as well as all of my paid invoices and so on. So let's actually just start from scratch. I'm going to send out a new invoice. Somebody owes me money, and I'm going to start filling in some information. First, I'm going to grab a customer. I'll just use myself, for example. What's nice about this is I can actually set up my terms, right? Whatever terms I establish with my customer, I can use that within Trace AR. We've got it pre-built in, so I'm just going to do due upon receipt. And let's go ahead and set an invoice date of today, right? We're going to date this recording. And I'm going to open up this invoice preview. So as I start adding in information, you'll see exactly what this invoice will look like to the customer, right? I've got my logo on it, so it looks like my own invoice. And we're going to start adding in some items. Now, if you've been on my trainings before, you know I'm kind of a golf freak, so we're going to keep that in line. I'm going to add in a driver and a lob wedge because that will fix my game. As we start adding in these items, that'll populate into the invoice itself. Now, these aren't hard coded amounts, right? If I want to give discounts, change the amounts, I can apply that within the system. So there's a lot of pricing flexibility in this. So with that, everything looks good. Now, as far as the collection of the payments go, we also have some flexibility in the fact that we don't need to send out the entirety of this, in this case, $650 invoice at once. A lot of merchants, they want to have the ability to take a down payment up front, right? So I can do that. I can split these payments into multiple different, right, kind of installments. So if we wanted to break this down into, my math's terrible, we'll just do 2 payments of $325, right? And we'll say the first payment's a deposit. I can assign that as well. We can add some custom messaging to the invoice. I can just say thank you. You'll see that adjust on the invoice itself. And then lastly, we can add some attachments to this. Now, what's nice is that this is fully itemized already, so I don't need to attach that type of documentation. But if we wanted to add product descriptions, photos, images, maybe we're working with a contractor and we want to do before and after photos of whatever work we're doing, we can do that. So for this example, let's just do an image of the product itself. Now, lastly, one really cool thing about this is that traditionally we think of invoicing as email, right? Especially in B2B, most everything goes via email currently. Well, we also have the ability to send this out via text message. So if I have a number saved on the account, I have the option to include that within, within this invoice so that it's touching them on multiple areas. And as Mary said earlier, a lot of these B2B merchants are looking for a customer consumer-like experience, right? It's actually not uncommon for, a B2B customer, a buyer to pay via text message, right? It's convenient. So we're going to send that out. Now, invoice is out there. You can see it just added that onto my upcoming outstanding invoices. I can see all of the information that's in here. And what's nice is that we can do some tracking. So if I actually go to this history tab, it will let me know in real time what's happening with that invoice. So at this moment, I can see that this was successfully delivered to my email. So bear with me here, team. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch tabs and grab my email. And you'll see this come through right here, right? Invoice from Sam's Golf World, $650. I've got the invoice down here below on the email. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that up and let's pay this off. I've got the itemization over here, invoice number, everything looks good. I'm happy with it. I'm going to pay it off. I'm going to use one of the stored payment methods that's already saved to my customer profile, but if we needed to go in and add a new payment method, we can do so. So I'm going to go ahead and pay this off. One interesting feature on this is you'll notice I have enabled a surcharge. This is optional, but this is a compliant surcharging solution so that if we wanted to, we'll look at some different fee structures. We can go ahead and apply those to these invoices. I'm going to pay that off. Success.
Well done. Sam, I have to just interject there. We do talk to some companies that think that adding the cost of processing with credit cards, right, accepting credit card payments is going to affect their business. It's going to drive up the cost for their business. And sometimes it can be a sticking point. But when you introduce something like surcharging, like you just described and displayed as part of this process, it can really help offset those costs, right? Because we're passing it through to the consumer. And in this case, even the B2B consumer knows that, yes, there is a cost to paying with credit cards, but we're so hooked on the convenience of it that, especially in a B2B world, it becomes very much second nature. So it's really great that we have those kind of solutions to enable our customers to be able to help offset some of those costs.
Absolutely. And it is becoming commonplace in B2B. What I really like about this is for those non-card acceptors today that have always been very hesitant to just do card, right? I like my paper checks because it doesn't cost me much. Well, right, as you said, Mary, it costs a lot more money than people realize to accept those checks. But if they do want to offset some of the costs, right, we do have some different programs that they can utilize.
Absolutely.
So now if I go back into my Trace AR account, I'll see that that invoice was paid. I've got a paid notification and all that history was tracked. So from the moment that I read that email, clicked on the link, and made that payment, I can see exact timestamps of what was taking place. Now, I like this because it's going to create a lot of visibility into exactly where that invoice is, right? With paper invoicing, once that's in the mail, it's gone. And I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that they send back a check in the next 30 days. Otherwise, I'm having to call somebody and kind of knock on their door, which isn't always the most fun thing to do. With this, I can see exactly that they did receive it, that they have clicked on it, And if I needed to, I can follow up with them, right? It's going to be a much smoother process. And honestly, it's probably going to create better rapport with your customers, with your buyers. All right. So that's the invoicing piece. Now I'm going to just scroll down here and I'm going to touch on two more things. One is payment link. Now we have payment link in the gateway today, right? So why are we talking about this? Well, this is right the next evolution of payment links. With the PayTrace gateway payment link, you can basically set up one broad payment link or email that out. With this, as you can see on my payment link dashboard, I have set up many payment links, and these are all unique, and I can use these for any purposes that I want. What's great about this is that we have multiple types of payment links now. So if we wanted to set up one for a individual specific product, in this example here that we have on the page, right, photography, right, photography services, great. Put that on my website. I'll put that on my social media. It's out there. Rapid checkout link is going to be more of your kind of e-commerce or shopping cart experience where we're going to have multiple product links built out so that if we offer multiple items or services, we can have, right, a shopping cart where we can add many and then check out at the end. Typically in the B2B buying process, the most popular is going to be a hosted payment link or a hosted payment page where we're going to set up a landing page for customers and buyers to go and submit a payment, right? And this can be applied again on our website, on social media, on emails, right? Wherever we're going to have touch points with our customers, this is going to be a great solution for that. So there's a lot of customization built in here. We can require invoice numbers. We can add notes. We can put disclaimers. I can change the name of the button from submit to something new. And then we can add those customer discretionary data fields. So if we wanted to grab, a text box for customer number, that's pretty vague, but you can get pretty creative on this. Make that required, right? Awesome. Customer number. Once this is created, it's going to have a unique URL that you can copy, paste, put wherever you want that. It's going to have HTML code that you can embed into your website. And one thing that's new about this is now we also have the ability to generate QR codes. Now, I'm going to leave this page up here while I talk, but for those of you that are watching this live, I'd encourage you, whip out your phones right now. Let me move my mouse cursor and scan that QR code because you will find this will take you to the now live Sam's Golf World hosted payment page, which is very cool. So I can now copy, download this QR code into all of my marketing materials. All right. Now, lastly, Mary has mentioned on this that we are going to be integrating this into different solutions. Right out of the gate, we have a native integration into QuickBooks Online that is ready to go today. So if you have merchants that are using QuickBooks Online and they want to accept payments and send invoices through their accounting platform, right, Trace AR is going to have that solution. Now, team, what I love about this is because we are owning this integration, you're getting that same 5-star support that you're used to with PayTrace today. You're not having to jump through hoops and trying to contact the correct, integration manager on this. Does it PayTrace that we need to talk to? Is it the processor? Is it the integrator? Right? In this case, we're owning that. So you call us for support. Now to set this integration up, it's literally a 30-second process. As long as you're a merchant or you have a QuickBooks account today, all you need to do is click on QuickBooks Online on our integrations page, enter in your QuickBooks credentials, and within a few seconds, it's going to connect that. So now when you navigate over to QuickBooks Online, now I can make all of my invoice payments natively through my QuickBooks account, right? And it's going to have that same customer experience that we just saw, same invoice template that we're using, right? But it's just going to interact within QuickBooks. So, Gabe, I see your hand raised. If you do have questions, please use the chat box. I see that we've had a bunch coming through on today's call. So that's going to be your brief Trace AR demo. I will have, some contact information on this. So if you want more of an in-depth demo, we can do something for you, a training, right? Whatever makes the most sense. So with that said, I'm going to hop back over into our presentation and I'm going to launch another poll because I am very curious. Let me go into my polling section here. Which of these features that we talked about today are you the most excited about? Right? Does it have to do with the invoicing, the tracking, QuickBooks, payment links, or is it something else, right? We did throw out surcharging in there. We threw out a couple other things, text messaging. So let us know what you're the most excited about. Mary, I am interested in your thoughts on this. I'm looking at the results coming through. It actually looks like QuickBooks Online is the number one tool right now.
I mean, that absolutely checks as I mentioned before, small and mid-sized companies have small teams, limited resources, and are trying to wear a lot of hats. Integration and ease of use is just going to be so key to everything they do because we want to make their lives easier. At the end of the day, we want accounting teams to be able to do more with less work and more technology, right? Use the technology to automate the processes that are painful and that take a long time right now. So that integration is so key.
I love it. I love seeing a little floating thumbs up in the bottom corner of this presentation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's real world. Again, I lived it. I felt this pain. I know what it's like. And it's not fun when you're waiting. To your point of visibility, Sam, the whole idea of, oh, I never got the invoice, no longer valid. We can follow the history train, down every step, right? Sent the text, sent the email link, person opened the email link. And, so that not only is great visibility for accounting and finance professionals, but also for the people that, think, oh gosh, did I see that one? We'll look back at your phone. The link is there. Just click on it again. Look at your email. It's there. Click on it again. And we can see that. So, you can have those conversations when they call in and say, well, no, I don't think I got it. Really? You opened it 3 times yesterday. So chances are maybe you did see it. So it just
Creating
makes for
accountability.
Accountability holds everybody accountable, and that's what we want in accounting and finance. We just want the visibility, especially now that we're all remote, right? I mean, everybody can look. The CFO can look from his phone while he's getting on an airplane, and the accounting manager can look from his or her home office where they're doing the majority of their job, and they don't have to go to the office to check to see whether a check arrived yet.
Exactly. So, right, that's a good kind of first look at Trace AR. Now, Mary, I'll throw this back to you, right? We talked about some of the challenges earlier, but I think it's also good to call out exactly what these solutions are.
Yeah, the benefits and just the way that it can transform your team, the way that you can transform the way that you think about what you're doing. It's the whole work smarter, not harder kind of approach, right? You're getting your business paid faster. That's obviously thing number one. Cash is king. Everybody wants to get paid faster and just have visibility into their cash flow from a much more holistic approach. And you don't have to have your accounts receivable team, on the phone as much as your sales team. Let's hope that's not the case, right? And so it frees up those AR personnel team members to focus on what's important. Let's do forecasting. Let's do budget. Let's think about the things that matter for our business that are going to move the needle and not chasing paper. That visibility that we just talked about, I think, is a great example. And visibility was important even when we were all in the same office. But now that we're remote, it's just even so much more important. So you can see very quickly where things are in the queue, where things are in the status. And if you do need to send a reminder, use the tool to do that. Quick reminder, this was due 2 days ago, whatever. You can send that via email or text very easily to send that digital message, just like people want to receive it. And you mentioned in the system about security and compliance, but I really want to highlight that from a PCI standpoint, our systems are all fully PCI compliant. So we're going to enable the organizations that use Trace AR to quickly get through a PCI audit because the system itself takes care of all of those compliance and regulations. So that's going to be huge for organizations that need to provide that PCI audit documentation. And we're going to help them reduce the transaction fees. Again, there is a cost to doing business, right? It's also way more advantageous. The ROI is just phenomenal on having digital payments and credit card payments as part of your options to accept from your merchants and your customers, because we can reduce those costs with interchange optimization. Now, you didn't display this, Sam, in the demo, but it is built in as a feature. I know you're going to talk about it. I think there's a question there too, but also with surcharging. So the ways that you're able to A, get the best rates, and B, help offset some of those costs using the features that are built into the software are going to really help keep your costs down. So if you're tracking that against the $23 per invoice, chances are you're going to reduce that cost quite a bit. And then, as you mentioned, live 5-star support. It's one of the things that PayTrace was founded on. It's one of the things that we're going to continue to build and represent as we work with more and more partners and customers. When you call us, you're going to talk to us. We're 100% live. We're in the United States. All of our team members are full-time employees. We don't outsource that. We take support very, very seriously, and our customers and partners rely on that. So it's something that we want to continue, and we hope that you've all had good experiences working with our support team. They love working with our customers and partners. So it's just a great experience and a whole relationship that they have with PayTrace. So it's something we're really excited about.
Love it. So I know that we're coming up here on time, everybody. So we will open this up for discussion. I have seen a lot of questions coming in, so we'll try to address as many as we can here today. Mary, I'll kind of take the lead on this, and if you have things to add, I'd welcome you to jump in.
Perfect. Go for it.
So question number one that came in was from Ken, asking, is this different than the regular PayTrace virtual terminal? And the answer is yes. This is going to be, think of this as kind of like an add-on product, like you would with potentially like our API or, you know, recurring billing or things like that. So yes, right. PayTrace itself is still going to be there. PayTrace Professional, I think, is what you're referring to. That's still going to be there, right? We're not getting rid of that, but this is going to be kind of the new version of it, if you will. So it does have a separate cost. I'm not going to be able to talk about that here on the live presentation, but I'd encourage you, if you're interested in this, reach out to our sales team. Again, we'll have some contact information up here in a moment. Does PayTrace AR sync, does Trace AR sync with ERP or accounting software? Right, we saw today that it works with QuickBooks Online. Mary, do you want to talk about maybe some of the other ERPs and maybe what the future of this looks like?
Absolutely. You know, it's one of the things, Sam, that you talk about. You show how easy it is to integrate with QuickBooks. Again, that integration is key for accounting firms and accounting teams, regardless of what ERP system they use. They want ease of use in that integration. So next on our roadmap is Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. And then we're also looking at other ERP systems in similar ecosystems so that we can integrate and meet those customers and partners wherever they are. If you've got multiple lines of business and support multiple ERP systems, let's absolutely continue that conversation. But we're looking at Business Central next, and then others that are in that mid-market space, cloud-based accounting systems and ERP systems in the very near future. So stay tuned.
And kind of a follow-up to that is that the API for this is open. So if you are a developer, or you have a custom solution that you 100%. Want to integrate this to, we've got our developer support team. We have our sales engineer that is more than happy to work with you, get you sandbox accounts, right? They're awesome. I actually think at least one of them is watching this right now. So I'm gassing you up here. So yes, we will have an API so that you can integrate these tools into other systems as well. As Mary iterated earlier, we have a question here that says, will we still get interchange optimization off of this level 2 and level 3? Yes, this is still using the PayTrace gateway, which has the interchange optimization, the automated level 2 and level 3, right? We're going to make it very easy for users to get those rate qualifications. That's going to drive down the cost of processing and interchange. So that's not changing, right? That is extremely important. Bill was asking, can we only use surcharging? Are there other pricing options in here? The answer is there's flexibility, right? You can do regular kind of the straight through processing, interchange plus flat rate, however you want to manage that. Surcharging is optional. Convenience fee is in here. Service fee is in here. We are going to be rolling out an ACH product here in the very, very near future. Once we get that out, cash discounting will be built into this. So there's going to be a lot of different ways that you can price out these types of accounts that, businesses want to. They want to use that. All right. I'm going to skip through here. I can address some of these offline. Peter's asking, does QuickBooks have their own invoicing system? Yes, they do. Intuit does have their own processing. You can currently send out invoices through QuickBooks. But what this is going to do is this is going to, remove that processing out of this. So it allows you to come in here and, set up, set up different merchant services so that we can take care of the businesses and, have more flexibility in what their needs are. And this does have some different functionalities, as we saw, than what QuickBooks Online invoicing currently supports. Wow, we're getting a lot of questions in here. Again, we'll take price conversations offline. Megan, I see your question about the subscription section. Because we only have limited time here today, I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you offline. So I'll make note of that and we'll follow up. So if you do want to see anything else on this, we can do additional demos and training outside of today's call. All right, I know we're coming up on time here. I think that's good for now. We covered most of the main questions that were coming through. I do want to leave the team with this, This is a new product. There's going to be, oops. Oh, we had one transition built in there at the very end. This is new. And I don't expect everybody that's on the call here today to understand or be an expert on this right out the gate. So we're going to have resources, data sheets, videos online. Again, our support's going to be able to do demos and trainings on this. So we're going to give you the resources that you need to be successful with this. Mary, if somebody wanted more information today, where would you direct them?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've got a relationship manager, definitely reach out to them. You can email us at sales@paytrace.com. You can visit paytrace.com and go to the Trace AR webpage. You can contact us through the forms on the site and or give us a call. So we look forward to addressing the questions and seeing how Trace AR really comes to life to accelerate the accounts receivable process in merchant organizations.
Exactly. And I'm going to launch one last poll here as we wrap this up, team. If you do want more information or have additional questions on Trace AR and you'd like to chat with somebody offline about this, please go ahead and hit the yes button. If not, that's cool too. Hit the not at this time button. We'll keep track of that. But it looks like about 85% of people want more information on this. So that's fantastic. So I will leave this up here. I want to thank everybody that's attending live today from hopping on and spending a half hour with us. We really appreciate it. And thank you, Mary Miller, for leading us and sharing some really informative data with the team.
Thank you, Sam. Happy to be here.
All right. Well, we will wrap that up. Thank you again, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on the next one of these. Take care.